My parents come from the Great Lakes, and the first place they lived was the Iron Range. Growing up in Chicago, I was downstream from Lake Superior. I couldn't help but want to come here and see it. What I wanted to sort of express and get at with my photos was about my life and about my family, but I didn't necessarily know that. I just knew I wanted to be up there shooting. I consider myself a modern-day explorer with a camera, and I have photographed all up and down the North Shore. One of the places I photographed is Palisade Head. Palisade Head is a lava flow that's 1.1 billion years old, and it's actually the highest point overlooking Lake Superior. You know, I had climbed around on the top of Palisade Head and shot the view and looked at the view for years, and I always wished I could just get down and photograph it from the ground, but it's not an easy place to get to. So I went to school for journalism, and when I got out, that's right around when I discovered photography. And I traveled for 3 years, and I shot a ton. I shot all that film in a relatively short period of time, and then moved to Minneapolis and started working as a photo assistant, and that introduced me to advertising photography. But because I have a degree in journalism, I think that really opened me up towards getting more editorial work. First time I drove up here from Minneapolis, just got this like really intense feeling, sort of like, you know, like it seemed really familiar in this family way. I've been on the other side, I've climbed all around the top, I've been all over it. Even though I've enjoyed all the spots, this spot ended up being really my hero photograph from my Lakehead project. Lakehead is a project I've been working on forever, really. The Lakehead is the source of the Great Lakes. It's a term used to just describe where the Great Lakes start. And I kind of felt like once I tapped into that on personal level, the narrative is really about my family and finding the source of my family and to understand myself more and understand the world I live in more. After I'd been here for a while, I eventually got a job to shoot the North Shore. I've shot for almost every magazine you can think of when they need something in Minnesota. One of the first magazines that hired me was Gourmet, and they called me up and they were like, "We want you to shoot the North Shore of Lake Superior." It was a dream job for me. It really helped me establish who I am as a commercial artist because it was a paid job and it was editorial. So one of the places I photographed was Russ Kendall's smokehouse in Knife River. Hey, I don't know if you remember me, but I've been in here a bunch ever since I shot that story for Gourmet.
Yeah.
I have a print to give you guys because I always meant to give you a print of that. It's part of a bigger project that I'm doing on the Great Lakes, so the fish is there, you know. So here you go.
Oh,
but I mean that you got it.
So much. What a beautiful shot.
What I love about editorial photography is that it's real and it's like there is a story there. I'm always drawn into it because I really do want to meet people. I love going into their houses and finding out what their lives are like. Well, I want to buy some fish for the road. The sugar-cured lake trout is my favorite. And then I'll take 2 Cisco's to go with that. And thanks for the fish. I really appreciate it. See you later. The best part of smoked fish is opening it and then smell it for the first time and see it and start eating it. So this is like the taste of my photo project, which is what's so great about it. You can eat it. I went through a rigorous MFA program, and since graduating, I've become a member of National Geographic Creative. As a new member, they selected 4 of my images, all shot in Minnesota. And all the hotshot Nat Geo photographers who shoot lions and mountains and all those exotic things. But the Minnesota landscape, if you have a reason to photograph it, it can be just as special or intense or exotic as any place on Earth, really. So here's my quick contact sheet proofs, and each one's a little bit different from the other. This is actually pretty nice. I would enlarge this one. I like the smoothness of the water. I think with a little more contrast and a little burning, I think this one could be pretty nice. This image that I'm working on, I shot 20 years ago, right before I moved to Minneapolis. Now, 20 years later, I've been sort of re-exploring it. Lost Letters Project is about tapping into my first photography and who I was as a 25-year-old traveling around. It's really interesting for me to go back through that work. It's almost like I'm a different person, because not only has 20 years passed, but I've also worked as a commercial photographer. You know, I have a family now, but I own this body of work that was created during that time. So it's really autobiographical. These photos are like lost letters from my former self to who I am now. One of the motivations for doing the Lost Letters Project was because I wanted to take these images and put them together as a book for my daughters. I feel like that time period in my life defines who I am now. And I think that's important, to be able to pass that along. I think it'd be interesting to get you in the center of the bridge again, like last time. Lucy, my daughter, she's 13. She loves photography. I love seeing the way she photographs. What she does with the camera is really interesting to me. Yeah, we want to open your exposure up just a little bit.
That looks better. I like that better.
Photography is a fun way for me to take her with and show her how much freedom she has and how much there is to do out there and how much there is to see. Can you do a shot of me where the lights are out of focus behind me? I really didn't follow in the footsteps of my dad or my brother. They both were engineers, and I was an artist. So having Lucy be interested in photography is really neat because it actually is a career. I didn't necessarily know that when I became a photographer. I was just doing it because I was interested.